No!
Alexander, keep your head down.
Dr. Carito.
One moment. Yes, this will not kill you. Not if I can remove the bullet. But not here. We must go.
Animals. Ah!
Yes. They slaughter our animals.
No. Ah! Ugh! The whole bloody lot of us. Animals.
I will close the shutters. We need not see any more of our homes burning. So, Spain has lost another battle.
I'm sorry, Doctor.
Sorry? You fought bravely.
They all fought. All my men. Until the last howl had been hacked out of them.
They were Spanish. You shed Scottish blood where only Spanish was sought. And those of French think foreign mercenaries will suffer the harshest treatment.
I am not a mercenary.
You think they will listen to your idealism. You need safety to heal. We must leave tonight.
My God.
The French thought the village was sheltering guerrillas. So they have butchered every man here, young or old.
This can't be the safe haven you have in mind.
No. What we seek here is the priest for the district. Ah, there. Padre. Padre!
Yes, I come. Who calls? Ah, Querido. And our wounded volunteer.
All is prepared?
Yes, Felipe will meet him at the crossroads. You have a long journey ahead, young sir.
Where am I going?
There is a family some way from here. They have a residencia in the hills. Once I hear they were great people. Now, alas, they are near destitution.
So they will take the doctor's money and keep quiet. Your part of the bargain, young sir, is to have as little contact with the family as possible.
There are 3 of them.
The son, Felipe, is an imbecile. You may talk a little with him, since he will have nothing useful to say. And then there is Eulalia.
Eulalia?
The daughter.
A pious Catholic girl. One who should not be sullied by contact with the offspring of a heathen land like your own.
I'll bear it in mind.
And there is the mother. You should not so much as cross her shadow.
As grand as that?
Please, do what we ask.
Padre! Padre!
There. I have to attend to those who did not choose this war for themselves. The crossroads. Felipe will meet you there.
Ah!
Sir, you are sick?
No. No, Felipe. It's just... the track is a little... bumpy. Rough. Sierra. Rough and lonely. No one else lives near.
Oh yes, Commandante. Yesterday I saw a crow in that old tree. The crow lives here.
Ah. I hope I'm not a great trouble to your mother coming here. Nor to your sister.
Eulalia? You will not see her.
She is not at the... residencia.
Oh yes, but she is a good girl, yes?
So I've heard.
A saint, says the priest.
Maybe it's better if I don't meet her.
Whoa!
What a disappointment if she should prove anything less.
Senor?
Just drive the wagon, Felipe.
Oh no, Commandante. The wagon is where he wants to be. There, you see? A residencia.
Yeah. My word. A grand old place. Once.
This room is for you.
Thank you. Perhaps I ought to see your mother. Thank her for her hospitality.
My mother? No. Too late. In the evening, she is not good.
Well, you must thank her for me when you see her next.
Oh, yes.
I certainly won't be lonely in here.
Senor?
These portraits everywhere. They are your ancestors? Your family?
Oh, yes. Familia. My blood is theirs.
Grand people, from the look of the finery.
Oh, yes, Comandante. We are a grand family.
I see them in you, Felipe. The faces. Theirs and yours. Are your sister and mother the same? The same, perhaps, as this portrait? This rather beautiful woman here?
We are all one family. Once there was money, now there is none. But still, there is no family here but us.
I should like to meet your mother, Felipe. Your mother and Eulalia. Felipe! Hello? Felipe!
My son is in the garden. He must plant as much as the soil will allow.
Senora,
Senor?
how nice to meet you. I've been almost a week in your care.
I know who you are. Come closer. The sun is upon me here, and it would be a torture to move.
Of course.
Yes. You have a wound, do you not?
Yes.
Yes. And you are a boy still.
Oh, a little more than that.
A boy. I have been aged enough in this sun to know a boy for what he is.
You do yourself a disservice.
Why do they shoot their bullets into boys as handsome as you?
I suppose I rather asked for this one.
Did you? Why?
For Spain?
Yet you are not of Spain.
No. I haven't really belonged to anywhere for some while.
We belong here. We have no place but this.
I've seen the portraits. I seem to have seen your face, Senora, if I may say, many times amongst them.
In finer clothes. In settings more beautiful than this dusty yard.
Nonetheless, forgive me. The beauty remains.
Your hand. Give me it.
My hand.
Give it.
Well,
Oh, yes. This is but a boy's hand. Yet it has shot bullets and stabbed a bayonet and worn a glove of blood. Why?
where is Felipe?
You would lead my son into your bloody ways?
I thought he might help me explore the land around here.
A good idea. He will take you hunting.
Senora! You're hurting my hand.
I meant only to kiss it.
Senora!
Mama!
Felipe, our guest wishes you to show him the splendors of our estates. Take care of him.
And you, Mother?
Oh, I shall sit in the sun so long as it lasts.
Take care, Comandante. With the rocks here.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness.
Is the world not beautiful, Comandante? The sight of it from here.
It has a wild beauty. Yes.
All this land is ours. For many hundred years.
A harsh land, no?
Nothing grows. That is certain. Quisiera ser tan alta como la luna. Ay, ay, como la... Oh, there is that old crow in his tree. He laughs that the land is dead. Dead things turn red and sweeten his mouth. Senor Crow, you are fat with all my family has lost in this dust. Watch, Comandante. He is so fat I can catch him from his tree.
No, Felipe!
He is the bird and I am the cat.
Felipe, leave it!
Die!
Felipe!
I have the old thief.
Let it go!
You see? He wants to flap away to pick more bones.
Felipe!
But I have a metal tooth here, but my shining knife that can bite off those flap wings. You see?
Felipe, no, no! Let it go! Felipe, let it go!
Senor?
For God's sake, man!
Yes! I am a man and it is a beast. The man who will inherit that tree. A man from noble birth.
I know who's the beast hereabouts. Give me a stone. Damn it. Damn. Do you know how many men I've killed, Felipe? It's so damned easy. One hardly needs a gun or a knife. These hands of mine, shaped to crack the spine of a Presbyterian hymn book, so often sufficed. You feel how easy it would be for me to make you suffer. As you did that poor crow, you feel... I'm sorry. I at least should know better.
No, Comandante. It is for me to apologize. I have let the beast in me come out. I will bury the bird. But we must be quick. The black wind is coming.
The what?
It will be with us by night. You see? Past the ridge. The cloud.
Yes. That's dust. What? Dreaming. That wind. That damned insomniac wind. My God! For heaven's sake! Open this door! You hear me? Unlock this door! I'm a bloody prisoner! Open this door!
Please, Comandante.
Felipe!
Go to sleep.
Unlock this door!
Please, Comandante. I do not have a key.
Then I'll break down the door!
All right. All right. I have the key. I'm sorry, Comandante.
Tell me what's happening in this damned house. There! Who is that?
It is a beast in the yard.
A beast.
They do not like the wind.
I do not like being treated like an idiot. Bring that candle! This house is like a bloody labyrinth.
Please. You must go back to your room. Eulalia will be so angry.
Is that Eulalia?
It is an animal, frightened by the black wind.
It sounds human. I want to know. There. Whose room is that?
Oh. You must not go there.
Whose room?
She will be so...
Who? Eulalia? I want to see in there.
No! No!
This isn't what I expected.
You must come away.
Books. Books everywhere. Latin. Sacred texts.
She is fierce with all who touch them.
And writings. Poetry? This is Eulalia's room, isn't it?
She is a saint. All that keeps me above the beast I was today. If one begins the descent, she says, where is he to stop?
Running my non-believing fingers over your sister's property. That's a falling from grace in itself, I suppose.
There are worse,
What?
but it is bad enough.
Felipe?
He's gone. He knows he should not be in here.
Eulalia?
My mother can accept money for your place in this house. She knows I allow her no control of this room.
Someone was screaming.
In a dream you had.
I heard it 2 minutes ago.
You heard nothing. You may rely on me to tell you what does and does not happen in this house.
Your hand.
Go.
Is that blood upon it?
It is my blood. I shed it as I please. Now go.
Until I'm more worthy of your company, then.
You shall not be here long enough for that. Ave Maria, gratia plena. Ave
Eulalia!
Maria, gratia plena. Ave Maria, gratia plena. I came here to pray. You disturbed me.
I caught sight of you coming up here. Impressive piece of work, in its grim way.
Grim?
The cross here. The sculpture. Your country's art tends to emphasize the suffering.
Our Lord was crucified under a sun hot as this. How could suffering be escaped?
I don't suppose it could.
The one pure soul ever to take human form, and the rest of them were on him like dogs.
These are gloomy meditations for one so young and innocent of life.
You think me innocent?
There isn't much of the life of the world to be experienced hereabouts.
Enough to drive me to this cross every day.
There are more hospitable places you could run. The great cities, Madrid, Seville, many others.
Oh yes, such as the place where they put a bullet in you. What an appetite they have for life thereabouts. They quite tore it out of you.
There are places beyond Spain, such as those to which I'll soon have to flee.
I believe my dashing soldier makes a proposal.
He offers a thought.
The thought of life as a soldier's follower.
I did not mean that.
What then did you mean?
I don't know. My wound is not healed yet. Today it hurts. And what of your wound, Eulalia?
I have no wound.
What about last night? The blood on your hand.
Does my dashing soldier lose sleep worrying over me?
Thinking of someone like you living her life in this wilderness, yes. He might toss and turn a little.
Perhaps he wants me to come and sing him to sleep.
That might do the trick.
Spanish songs are fierce. They might keep you awake.
Let me see your hand.
To kiss it?
It wasn't kissed last night, was it? Let me see.
No.
Let me. This bite. Was this an animal? Were those your cries last night? Is there someone or something here that means you harm?
I must go, please.
I want to help you.
I cannot be helped. I must go.
When may I see you again?
I have no home but that house. How can we escape seeing one another? I may wander in the courtyard tonight, if it's too warm to sleep.
Until tonight, then. Eulalia.
It is indeed too warm to sleep, is it not?
It is, yes. And that moon fairly stares at one.
Is not this the moon we stand on now? Isn't this light its silver dew on me, on you?
I don't know what it is. All I know is what I see in you.
There are too many shadows in this courtyard for you to see me clearly.
Then let me take you where I might know you better.
Alas, the impatience of soldiers.
Don't think of me as a brute. A brute's what I've been. If I reach out now and touch you, it's to draw tenderness close about me and time free of the panic of outrunning bullets.
Can't you understand that a woman locked away from the rush of your world might want to quicken her own blood? Oh, I'm sorry. You find me rough, I'm sure.
No. Just a touch.
I've made you bleed.
Just a bite in the lip. I won't die of it.
No, here, at your heart, your wound.
Oh, it's all right. You pressed a little close, that's all.
You must go. Tonight.
Go.
Far from here. You stink of blood.
I can't.
Must I press my fingers in the wound to make you believe the danger you are in?
Eulalia, ah!
Now go!
For God's sake, ah! Tell me!
Still, you will not go. Then I must. I am a danger to us both.
No! Eulalia! Ah! Eulalia! Where have you gone? Please, I don't understand. Eulalia! Is that you? Eulalia! Eulalia?
Bésame, bésame mucho, como si fuera esta noche
Eulalia?
la última vez.
Is that you in there? Eulalia! Eulalia? Are you in here?
Bésame, bésame mucho.
Oh, Signora. You give me a fright. Creeping around in the firelight.
I knew you would come.
Yes. I was looking for your daughter.
My brave young soldier, bearing your blood like a medal.
It's not as bad as it looks. Just needs a clean bandage.
How like a lover you look, bringing me that red flower.
Signora?
Like my husband, so long ago.
I've disturbed you. Sorry. I'll leave.
I lost him, and my land was left parched. No blood in it, until you came.
Signora, please.
Did you not come to bleed beneath my kiss?
Signora. Help me! Help me! Signora! Help me!
Mama!
Felipe, for God's sake! She's biting!
No, Mama!
No!
Eulalia! Eulalia!
Mama! Para, Mama!
Mama! Mama!
Senor,
Eulalia,
come.
your mother, she bit into me like an animal.
She is no animal, no more than you or I.
Senor, one kiss.
We must take you away from here.
I am a woman, senor.
Mama!
I need a kiss to live.
Mama!
No! Do not take him!
Mama! Por favor!
What?
Lie back. You are safe.
Dr. Querido.
Once again, I come to your rescue.
What? Where is this? Not the Residencia.
No, you young fool. You're at my house, where the French can sniff out your blood.
Padre? Dear God. The mother there.
You need not tell me. If you had heeded my words, no more warning would have been required.
You have been in a delirium, but the infection from your wound has passed. While you lay there, the Padre has been more candid. That once great family has become as degenerate in spirit as it is in fortune.
That madness. It isn't all of them.
In the blood of all of them, yes. Circumstance dictates those moments for the individual when the infection becomes fever. But yes, it curses them all.
Then they must be helped.
They are beyond our help.
What?
Word of your experience has got around.
It is not the first time.
The local people are superstitious.
They are frightened and prepare to exorcise those they think devils. By fire.
Can you not hear them out there? Gathering their forces?
I can do nothing.
We must get to the family first.
It will be enough if I can save you from the mob's anger.
Me?
If they know of your innocence in the mother's assault, they know also of your affections for the daughter.
Such affections as I forbade you.
They fear the seed of evil will be sown in another generation.
And will cut down any stalk which might bear that seed.
No. I must go to her.
No, your wound, it is not healed.
I know where I'll find her. The cross. Yes. Eulalia.
Alexander, no!
I knew I'd find you here. The people down in the valley,
I know. They come for us with fire.
You and your family must come with me.
We have no place in the world but this.
The resident Thea will be ashes by sunset.
Then we must be ashes too.
No.
It will be better. You have seen what our birthright has made of my mother.
Your mother needs help, not burning alive.
We were past help 100 years before we were born. I as surely as she.
But aren't you proof of how a soul can rise above that inheritance?
For how long?
I...
Your wound is bleeding.
Not badly enough to stop me.
There then.
Ah!
I go. Forget me. The flames will...
No! No! Ah! Eulalia!
Markheim. A play for radio by Tom Wright, based on a short story by Robert Louis Stevenson. The year, 1845. The time, Christmas. Markheim.
I'm coming. It's Christmas Day. My shop is closed for business. My shop is closed, I tell you. Go away. Who are you? What do you want?
Markheim.
Who?
Markheim. Let me in quickly.
I tell you, I'm closed for business on Christmas Day.
For ordinary business, perhaps. But when will you ever close for our kind of business?
I do our kind of business at night. Has anyone seen you coming here?
Not yet, but the streets will not be empty forever.
Oh, you'd better come in. Has anyone followed you?
Why should anyone follow me?
Well, Mr. Markheim, your business must be urgent to make you behave so foolishly.
It is extremely urgent.
Even your tongue's reckless, Mr. Markheim. A bad failing in a man of business. And now that I know your business is pressing, you must not be surprised if I profit by the information. But then, Mr. Markheim, you've never been good at business. I suppose it's because you were once a gentleman. I, on the other hand, am a dealer. It's not the easiest way to become rich, but from time to time we get a windfall. Sometimes our customers are ignorant of the true value of the object they wish to sell. Then we touch a dividend from our superior knowledge. Sometimes they are dishonest, and in that case I profit from my virtue. I do not, of course, suggest that your business is dishonest, but we know that it is urgent. So urgent that you come to see me on Christmas Day when my shutters are up and I make a point of refusing business, when my maid is out and I'm alone in the house. Well, you'll have to pay for that, Mr. Markheim.
I'm sorry if I interrupted your Christmas celebrations. I have thought of you so long as a dealer that I had forgotten you were also a man, like other men. Go on with your Christmas celebrations, and a Merry Christmas.
No. Christmas celebrations. No, it's not because you've interrupted my celebrations you must pay. It's for the loss of time when I should be balancing my books. You must pay for that. You'll also have to pay for a kind of manner I noticed in you today. When a customer cannot look me in the eye, he has to pay for it. Now, this object you've come to sell me, from your deceased uncle's collection, is it not? You are fortunate in having had an uncle who was a remarkable collector.
I have exhausted my uncle's collection.
Really, Mr. Markheim? So you've something else to sell me, no doubt from an equally reputable source.
You're mistaken, Mr. Dealer. I have not come to sell. I have come to buy.
To buy? Well, Mr. Markheim, I see, congratulate you on a change of fortune. Now, let me see. I've some rather fine pieces of china. This figurine, perhaps?
No, that would not suit my purpose. I need a present for a young lady.
A young lady, eh?
Something small but expensive.
Well, sir, so be it. We stand in a new relationship. I am, as I said, closed for ordinary business, but after all, you're an old business acquaintance and a man with a true feeling for objet d'art. Now, let me see. Now, there's a fine present for a lady. A hand mirror. That glass is 15th century warranted.
A glass? For Christmas? What do you mean by this?
Why not a glass?
You ask me why not. Look in it. Look at yourself. Do you like what you see? No? Well, neither do I, nor any man.
Your lady must be rather ill-favoured if you're afraid to give her a glass.
I asked you for a Christmas present and you give me this damned reminder of years and sins and follies, this blasted hand conscience.
What nonsense is this you're talking now?
It is important to me, and it should be to you. I cannot think of my past without shame, and cannot ignore it. I carry it with me wherever I go. Now, with one step, I can get money, free myself from it, and begin again.
Your past is no concern of mine, and if you are concerned for your future, I advise you to take this glass.
Why should we be in such a hurry? It is pleasant to get to know people. We should not hurry any pleasure. Not even such a mild one as this.
I'm a busy man, Mr. Markheim. I have no time for pleasure.
Make time for it. Talk to me. Tell me about yourself. When we know each other, we might even be friends.
I have no friends and need none.
Dealer, a hand to get money and a safe to keep it in. Is that all you are? Dear God, man, is that all? Speak up, man, if you are a man. Is that all?
I have only this to say to you. Either make your purchase or get out of my shop. Will you take the glass?
Show me something else.
This fan.
Now, this dagger could reach to the hardest of hearts. A fan. An excellent present for a lady. Now, on second thoughts, a fan will not do. The ladies use them to cool themselves, to mask their faces and their emotions, as you use this mask of caring only for profit. No, the fan will not suit my purpose.
Perhaps this might suit your purpose. It's a fine piece. It will not heat your lady, but it will not cool her either. And it has the added advantage that no moral lesson can be drawn from it.
If no moral lesson can be drawn from a cameo, make me a present of one. No, I would not ask you to present me with anything that has a market value. Present me with a cameo of your life.
My life? What is my life to you, Mr. Markheim?
Less than nothing, Mr. Dealer. Our lives have crossed so often in the past. Always at some unfortunate moment in my career. We should not judge each other solely by such meetings.
Such judgments as I make on people are purely and simply business judgments.
How much you can cheat them off when you buy and how much you can cheat them off when you sell.
You've been drinking, but that does not excuse your impertinence. You come to my shop, disturb me at my work on the pretext of purchasing a gift. Then you insult me, abuse my charity, waste my time by talking nonsense.
Nonsense? I have sunk very low in my life. But till now, the chief victim of my crimes has been myself. Now I have the chance to rise, to build a new and secure foundation and use the greatness that I know is in me. But to do this, I must make one last great plunge to find the means. And I must take another with me, who will not share my rise. It is not a decision to be taken lightly, Mr. Dealer. I thought that you might help me to reach the right choice. But since you refuse, our association must end here.
Oh, come, Mr. Markheim. You and I have dealt with each other for a number of years to our mutual satisfaction. Let us forget these hard words we've exchanged and this fooling and attend to your business.
Indeed. It is time to attend to my business. Time is my enemy.
Yes, for all your talk about dragging another person down who will not share your rise, Mr. Markheim, I think you're being over-scrupulous. Scruples are a luxury that no man who hopes to rise in the world can afford. There are only two kinds of people, the users and the used. And now, this might be the very thing. What are you doing?
I prefer the dagger! Is that death? Not grand. Not terrible. He looks like so much sawdust sprawled there. Smaller and even meaner than he was in life. Time has stopped for him, but it is more important to me than ever. Time is my enemy. His money. Where does he keep it? It's not here. Where did you keep it, you old fool? The door at the back of the shop is open. He must have come from there and left it open. Open and waiting. Like an ambush. Who's there? Who could be there? My nerves are jumping like a hooked fish. Staircase. 3 doors at the top. The money must be there. Nothing. Where can it be? Someone on the stair. Is there anyone there?
Can I be of any service to you?
What? Who
You are looking for the dealer's money, I believe, Markheim.
You know me?
Indeed I do. You have always been an impetuous man. I must say you have excelled yourself today, particularly in your carelessness.
Carelessness?
You should have come at night.
The police are more vigilant at night. Besides, during the day, no one will notice me leaving. I shall look like all the others in the street.
Will all the others be as noticeably stained with blood? Was it wise to use a dagger? There are less messy ways of killing.
I used it because it was there, waiting for me.
Was there any need to kill him at all? You could have bound and gagged him.
Then he could have told the police my name.
Oh, come, Markheim, would he have risked that? If he exposed you, quite certainly you would have exposed him as a receiver of stolen property. Why did you kill him?
I didn't mean to. I had no clear intention of any kind. I have been given a chance to make myself rich and break completely with my old life. All I needed was money. And that man had it. That dried-up, loveless, joyless creature had it. I came here to get money, but I had no definite plans.
You flatter yourself you had no plan at all. You came without anything to bind him with or to kill him with. You have not provided yourself with an alibi. You wanted the dealer's money, but you did not know where to find it. On an impulse, you killed him, and now even he cannot tell you. And if you do not find the money, you have killed him for nothing, Markheim. I can tell you. But you must ask me first. I'm your friend. Accept my offer of assistance.
I'll find it without your help.
I do not think you will. Certainly you will not find it quickly. You need every second to make good your escape, and time is passing. Think how foolish it would be to have done what you have done and not reap the profit.
I have paid too much already for it. I will not share it with you.
I said I was your friend, not your accomplice. I ask nothing from you, and my offer puts you under no obligation.
I want nothing from you.
Then I will leave you. For the moment.
Wait. Wait a moment. There's no one here. There never was. It was in your mind. The sounds, the footsteps, and that being were all in your mind. The last room. It must be there. The money must be there.
Come in.
What are you doing here?
I was looking at the dealer's ledgers. You have balanced his books for him, Markheim, and his accounts are closed. Like a good clerk, you have put his affairs in order, and like an artist, you have coffined him in his final unchangeable definition. Dried up, joyless, loveless. A hand to get and a safe to hold. Those were your words, I think?
If he had shown one sign that anyone would be the poorer or the sadder for his death, if he had even shown that he could find some pleasure in existence...
You would not have killed him. But what of your need for money?
In spite of that, I would not have killed him.
How convenient for you that he seemed to fit the formula that you made for him.
Seemed?
What would you say if I told you he was not always as you saw him? He was not, of course, like you. You were born with every advantage.
You do not know me.
I do, Markheim. That is why I've helped you so often in the past.
You? Help me? I have never seen you before. Who are you? I do not know if you are man or devil.
What I am cannot affect the service I propose to render you.
It can, it does. I do not know you, but there is something familiar about you. Something that haunts the dark corners of my mind. I feel that you are not of this earth and not of God. You cannot help me.
I have helped you before.
Without my knowledge, I will not knowingly be helped by you.
Don't be a fool, Markheim. You have killed for money. I assure you that without my help, you cannot find it.
I can and I will.
You're wasting time. Every second you waste brings it all nearer. The policeman's hand on your shoulder, the people staring at you as if you were mad, the jury weighing your life in the balance, the prosecutor etching your character in black and white, the judge with his black cap and his black hanging face, the prison, the gallows, and the black coffin. Think of it, Markheim. The rope under your chin, the knot at the back of your neck, one jerk, and your life is stopped like a clock. Where will your atonement be then? Where will be the great things that you meant to do, that you have always meant to do? Swinging in the wind, Markheim. Swinging in the wind.
Nothing.
Do you accept my offer?
No. You cannot terrify me into accepting it.
I terrify you? Oh, come, Markheim, you terrify yourself. Fears are scuttling about your head like rats in a deserted attic. Sane fears, mad fears, fears of man, of devils, and of God.
I have no fear of God. He at least will give me justice.
I hope for your sake he tempers it with mercy. But before you face his justice, you may suffer at the hands of human justice. Unless you accept my help. What if someone has reported strange sounds from this house to the police? What if someone has informed against your friend the dealer and are on their way to arrest him as a receiver of stolen property? What if...
What is it?
Did you hear a sound from down there? What if he's not yet quite dead? What if he's dragging his bleeding body out into the street and crying, "Murder!" Time was when the brains were out, the man was dead.
You are a fiend.
I am one who knows you and values you.
No, you do not know me.
Markheim, I know you to the soul.
How can you know me? Not from my life. My life is a lie that grows and grows about me and strangles me. I am better than this disguise I wear. Can you not see that? All men are.
You are too modest. All men are not Markheims. All men do not rob and murder and still have no fear of God.
If my crimes are exceptional, so are my reasons. If I had time, I would prove it to you.
To me?
To you, more than anyone.
Then you know me at last.
Yes, I know you. But you're not what I expected.
Did you expect me to exist?
No. But if you did, I would have expected you to be intelligent. More than intelligent, godlike. Able to look deep into the souls of men, read what was there and judge them truly to the marrow of their bones. Yet there you are, judging me by my actions like a policeman. Is that just?
How did you judge the dealer? By looking into his soul?
His soul? He had none. I did not take his life. He had no life to take. Are you laughing at me?
Oh, Markheim, how fate has cheated you. There is a core of greatness in you, man. Let me preserve you for greater things.
Oh, can you not see that we have nothing in common? I hate evil. I have never in my life sinned willingly.
Very feelingly expressed, but I have no interest in such niceties of debate, and you have not time for them. Time is ticking you towards the gallows. Don't cover your ears. It will not stop because you cannot hear the clocks. Shall I help you? Shall I tell you where the money is?
Your price is too high.
I have not mentioned a price. I offer you the information as a Christmas present.
If I were dying, I would somehow find the strength to refuse assistance from your hands.
The case is not hypothetical. You are dying, Markheim. This is the last room in the house. Search it thoroughly, Markheim. It will pass the remainder of your life. Without my help, you will never find the money.
I will not commit myself to evil. If you only wish to save me so that I can spread evil, you should have saved the dealer. He would have been a better tool for your purpose.
You underestimate yourself, Markheim. He had not your talent for self-deception, nor your sense of your own ultimate greatness, nor your interest in noble causes. There is no greater source of evil than a self-deceiving man. Unless perhaps it is a noble cause. There was a time when men were religious, and the saintly butchers would set out to rob, torture, slaughter, and lay waste the earth for their great causes. You must take up politics and butcher for a substitute for God, shall we say, the betterment of man. Then you can fulfill the whole promise of your life and still find the end you desire.
Do you think I have no more hope for my life than to sin and sin and sin, and in the end sneak into salvation? Is that all you know of man? Is murder so unholy that it leaves no trace of goodness in a man?
Murder is no special category. All sins are murder, as all life is war. I have no interest in evil acts, only in evil men. It is not because you have killed a dealer that I offered to help you. It is because you are Markheim.
Oh, no. If you discount my acts, you cannot say I am an evil man. Evil is strong in me, but so is good. I am pulled both ways. Must my vices always dictate my life? Surely the good in me can be a spring for action as well.
Look, Markheim, you have been 35 years in this world, and your character has changed steadily throughout those years, always for the worse. Is that not true?
No, I am the same as I always was.
20 years ago, you would have hesitated even to tell a lie. 15 years ago, you would not drink nor gamble. Rakery was anathema to you. 10 years ago, you would not have believed yourself capable of theft. Last year, the very thought of murder would have made you scream out in your sleep. Is there any crime you feel you could not now commit? If there is, name it, and within 5 years from now I shall watch while you commit it. The long road you have come leads only down. Nothing but death can stop your descent.
I know I have given in to evil, but so has every man. The very saints have sinned in order to exist.
Answer me one simple question, without cheating your own conscience, and from your answer predict your own future. Do you hate yourself as you would once have hated a man like you? Or do you become more satisfied that you are a helpless victim of circumstances? Is the habit of evil your disguise, or is it you, Markheim? And you must content yourself with what you are, for you will never change. That being so, you must accept my offer. Take the profit of being Markheim with the loss.
What of God's grace? Surely that is left to me.
What have you done to deserve it? Or have you changed your mind? Will you sneak into heaven sniveling your deathbed repentance?
No, I will not.
Then I will show you where the money is.
No. You said you knew me to the soul, and now, because of you, I know myself to the soul. You have left me nowhere to hide from myself. I thought I might do some great thing and atone for my sins. Now I know that nothing can atone for what I have done. One thing I can do, though, and that is to find the strength to face poverty and starvation for the rest of my life.
You have talked away the rest of your life. Are you going, Markheim, without the money?
I'm going downstairs.
Into the street with blood on your hands? Too late, Markheim. The dealer's servant has quarreled with her sweetheart and left him. While we've been talking, she's been making her way home. While you were putting all your faith in divine justice, human justice has been coming for you. Pausing sometimes to weep a little or to look in shop windows. But it has been coming. Markheim, you need my help now, as you have never done before. Markheim. Markheim, it's the maid. What will you do now? No, you cannot do that. You cannot brush her aside and run past her. The street is full of people now. You spoke of bearing your misery for the rest of your life. The rest of your life depends on what you do now. You can think of nothing. And do as I say. Go to the door with a serious face. Tell her you are a doctor. Her master has been taken seriously ill. She must go to him at once. When she is in the shop, close and bolt the door. Then, the same skill that rid you of the dealer will rid you of this last obstacle. Do this and you will need no help from me to find the money. You will have the whole day and night to ransack the house, find it, and make your escape. I promise you suspicion will never fall on you. You will do great things and you will never need my help again. Look. At your feet. The dagger. Take it. Markheim, your life depends on it.
My life. My dear, you had better go for the police. I have killed your master.
Markheim, by Robert Louis Stevenson, was dramatized by Tom Wright. Markheim was played by Tom Watson, The Dealer by Martin Heller, and The Stranger by Malcolm Hayes. The play was produced in Scotland by Gordon Emsley.
Travels with a Donkey in the Cevennes by Robert Louis Stevenson. Episode 1, Le Monastier.
My dear Sidney Colvin, the journey which this little book is to describe was very agreeable and fortunate for me. After an uncouth beginning, I had the best of luck to the end. But we are all travellers in what John Bunyan calls the wilderness of this world, all too travellers with a donkey. And the best that we find in our travels is an honest friend. He is a fortunate voyager who finds many. We travel, indeed, to find them. They are the aim and the reward of life. They keep us worthy of ourselves, and when we are alone, we are only nearer to the absent. Every book is, in an intimate sense, a circular letter to the friends of him who writes it. They alone take his meaning. They find private messages, assurances of love and expressions of gratitude dropped for them in every corner. The public is but a generous patron who defrays the postage. Yet though the letter is directed to all, we have an old and kindly custom of addressing it on the outside to one. Of what shall a man be proud if he is not proud of his friends? And so, my dear Sidney Colvin, it is with pride that I sign myself affectionately yours, R.L.S. In a little place called Le Monastier, in a pleasant highland valley in Haute-Loire, I spend about a month of fine days. As the name betokens, the town is of monastic origin, and it still contains a towered bulk of monastery and a church of some architectural pretensions, the seat of an archpriest, and several vicars. It stands on the side of a hill above the river Gazet, about 15 miles from Le Puy, up a steep road where the wolves sometimes pursue the diligence in winter. It is a town of lace-makers. The women sit in the streets by groups of 5 or 6, and the noise of the bobbins is audible from one group to another. There was one particular group who brought out a chair whenever I went by, and detained me from my walk to gossip. They were filled with curiosity about England, its language, its religion, the dress of the women, and were never weary of seeing the Queen's head on English postage stamps, or seeking for French words in English journals. The language in particular filled them with surprise. Bread, which sounds a commonplace, plain sailing monosyllable in England, was the word that most delighted these good ladies of Monastier. It seemed to them frolicsome and racy, like a page of Pickwick, and they all got it carefully by heart, as a stand-by, I presume, for winter evenings. I have tried it since then with every sort of accent and inflection, but I seem to lack the sense of humour. The town is notable also for drunkenness, for freedom of language, and for unparalleled political dissension. There are adherents of the 4 French parties, Legitimists, Orleanists, Imperialists, and Republicans, in this little mountain town, and they all hate, loathe, decry, and calumniate each other. Except for business purposes, or to give each other the lie in a tavern brawl, they have laid aside even the civility of speech. In the midst of this Babylon, I found myself a rallying point. Everyone was anxious to be kind and helpful to the stranger. This was not merely from the natural hospitality of mountain people, nor even from the surprise with which I was regarded as a man living of his own free will in the monastery. It arose a good deal from my projected excursion southwards through the Cevennes. A traveller of my sort was a thing unheard of in that district. I was looked upon with contempt, like a man who should project a journey to the moon, but yet with a respectful interest, like one setting forth for the inclement pole. All were ready to help in my preparations. A crowd of sympathisers supported me at the critical moment of a bargain. Not a step was taken, but was heralded by glasses round and celebrated by a dinner or breakfast. It was hard upon October before I was ready to set forth, and at the high altitudes over which my road lay there was no Indian summer to be looked for. I was determined, if not to camp out, at least to have the means of camping out in my possession, for there is nothing more harassing to an easy mind than the necessity of reaching shelter by dusk, and the hospitality of a village inn is not always to be reckoned sure by those who trudge on foot. A tent, above all for the solitary traveller, is troublesome to pitch and troublesome to strike again, and even on the march it forms a conspicuous feature in your baggage. A sleeping sack, on the other hand, is always ready. You have only to get into it. It serves a double purpose, a bed by night, a portmanteau by day, and it does not advertise your intention of camping out to every curious passer-by. This is a huge point. If the camp is not secret, it is but a troubled resting place. You become a public character. The convivial rustic visits your bedside after an early supper, and you must sleep with one eye open and be up before the day. I decided on a sleeping sack, and after repeated visits to Le Puy, and a deal of high living for myself and my advisers, a sleeping sack was designed, constructed, and triumphantly brought home. This child of my invention was nearly 6 feet square, exclusive of 2 triangular flaps to serve as a pillow by night and as the top and bottom of the sack by day. I call it the sack, but it was never a sack by more than courtesy, only a sort of long roll or sausage, green waterproof cart cloth without and blue sheep's fur within. It was commodious as a valise, warm and dry for a bed. There was luxurious turning room for one, and at a pinch the thing might serve for 2. I could bury myself in it up to the neck, and for my head I trusted to a fur cap, with a hood to fold down over my ears and a band to pass under my nose like a respirator. And in case of heavy rain, I proposed to make myself a little tent, or tentlet, with my waterproof coat, 3 stones, and a bent branch. It will be readily conceived that I could not carry this huge package on my own merely human shoulders. It remained to choose a beast of burden. What I required was something cheap and small and hardy and of a stolid and peaceful temper, and all these requisites pointed to a donkey. There dwelt an old man in Monastier, of rather unsound intellect according to some, much followed by street boys, and known to fame as Father Adam. He had a cart, and to draw the cart a diminutive she-ass, not much bigger than a dog, the colour of a mouse, with a kindly eye and a determined underjaw. There was something neat and high-bred, a Quakerish elegance about the rogue that hit my fancy on the spot. Our first interview was in Monastier marketplace. To prove her good temper, one child after another was set upon her back to ride, and one after another went head over heels into the air, until a want of confidence began to reign in youthful bosoms, and the experiment was discontinued from a dearth of subjects. I was already backed by a deputation of my friends, but as if this were not enough, all the buyers and sellers came round and helped me in the bargain, and the ass and I and Father Adam were the centre of a hubbub for nearly half an hour. At length she passed into my service for the consideration of 65 francs and a glass of brandy. The sack had already cost 80 francs and 2 glasses of beer, so that Modestine, as I instantly baptized her, was upon all accounts the cheaper article. Indeed, that was as it should be, for she was only an appurtenance of my mattress, or self-acting bedstead on 4 casters. I had a last interview with Father Adam in a billiard-room at the witching hour of dawn, when I administered the brandy. He professed himself greatly touched by the separation, and declared he had often bought white bread for the donkey when he had been content with black for himself. But this, according to the best authorities, must have been a flight of fancy. He had a name in the village for brutally misusing the ass. Yet it is certain that he shed a tear, and the tear made a clean mark down one cheek. By the advice of a fallacious local saddler, a leather pad was made for me with rings to fasten on my bundle, and I completed my kit and arranged my toilette. By way of armoury and utensils I took a revolver, a little spirit lamp and pan, a lantern and some halfpenny candles, a jackknife and a large leather flask. The main cargo consisted of 2 entire changes of warm clothing, some books, and my railway rug, which, being also in the form of a bag, made me a double castle for cold nights. The permanent larder was represented by cakes of chocolate and tins of Bologna sausage. All this was easily stowed in my knapsack. For more immediate needs, I took a leg of cold mutton, a bottle of Beaujolais, an empty bottle to carry milk, an egg beater, and a considerable quantity of black bread and white, like Father Adam, for myself and the donkey. Only in my scheme of things, the destinations were reversed. Monastrians of all shades of thought in politics had agreed in threatening me with many ludicrous misadventures, and with sudden death in many surprising forms. Cold, wolves, robbers, above all the nocturnal practical joker, were daily and eloquently forced on my attentions. Yet in these the true patent danger was left out. Like Christian, it was from my own pack I suffered by the way. Before telling my own mishaps, let me relate the lesson of my experience. If the pack is well strapped at the ends and hung at full length, not doubled for your life, across the pack saddle, the traveller is safe. The saddle will certainly not fit, such is the imperfection of our transitory life. It will assuredly topple and tend to overset, but there are stones on every roadside, and a man soon learns the arts of correcting any tendency to overbalance with a well-adjusted stone. On the day of my departure, I was up a little after 5, By 6 we began to load the donkey, and 10 minutes after my hopes were in the dust. The pad would not stay on Modestine's back for half a moment. I returned it to its maker, with whom I had so contumelious a passage that the street outside was crowded from wall to wall with gossips, looking on and listening. The pad changed hands with much vivacity. Perhaps it would be more descriptive to say that we threw it at each other's heads, and, at any rate, we were very warm and unfriendly, and spoke with a deal of freedom. I had a common donkey pack-saddle, a bard, as they call it, fitted upon Modestine, and once more loaded her with my effects. The doubled sack, my pilot coat, for it was warm and I was to walk in my waistcoat, a great bar of black bread, and an open basket containing the white bread, the mutton, and the bottles were all corded together in a very elaborate system of knots, and I looked on the result with fatuous content. In such a monstrous deck cargo, all poised above the donkey's shoulders, with nothing below to balance, on a brand-new pack-saddle that had not yet been worn to fit the animal, and fastened with brand-new girths, even a very careless traveller should have seen disaster brewing. That elaborate system of knots was the work of too many sympathisers to be very artfully designed. It is true they tightened the cords with a will. As many as 3 at a time would have a foot against Modestine's quarters and be hauling with clenched teeth. But I learned afterwards that one thoughtful person, without any exercise of force, can make a more solid job than half a dozen heated and enthusiastic grooms. I was then but a novice. Even after the misadventure of the pad, nothing could disturb my security, and I went forth from the stable door as an ox goeth to the slaughter.
Alan Cumming was reading the first episode of Travels with a Donkey in the Cevennes by Robert Louis Stevenson, abridged in 8 parts by Stuart Conn. The producer was Tamsin Collison. Travels with a Donkey in the Cevennes by Robert Louis Stevenson. Episode 2, Setting Out.
The bell of Monastier was just striking 9 as I descended the hill through the common. Modestine tripped along upon her 4 small hoofs with a sober daintiness of gait. From time to time she shook her ears or her tail, and she looked so small under the bundle that my mind misgave me. We got across the ford without difficulty, and once on the other bank, where the road begins to mount through pine woods, I took in my right hand the unhallowed staff, and with a quaking spirit applied it to the donkey. Modestine brisked up her pace for perhaps 3 steps, and then relapsed into her former minuet. Another application had the same effect, and so with a third. I am worthy the name of an Englishman, and it goes against my conscience to lay my hand rudely upon a female. I desisted, and looked her all over from head to foot. The poor brute's knees were trembling, and her breathing was distressed. It was plain she could go no faster on a hill. God forbid, thought I, that I should brutalize this innocent creature. Let her go at her own pace, and let me patiently follow. What that pace was, there is no word mean enough to describe. It was something as much slower than a walk as a walk is slower than a run. It kept me hanging on each foot for an incredible length of time. In 5 minutes it exhausted the spirit and set up a fever in all the muscles of the leg. And yet I had to keep close at hand and measure my advance exactly upon hers. For if I dropped a few yards into the rear, or went on a few yards ahead, Modestine came instantly to a halt and began to browse. The thought that this was to last from here to Alès nearly broke my heart. In the meantime there came up behind us a tall peasant, perhaps 40 years of age, of an ironical, snuffy countenance, and arrayed in the green tailcoat of the country. He overtook us, and stopped to consider our pitiful advance. "Your donkey," says he, "is very old?" I told him I believed not. Then he supposed we had come far. I told him we had but newly left Le Monastier. "Et vous marchez comme ça?" cried he, and throwing back his head, he laughed, long and heartily. I watched him, half prepared to be offended, until he had satisfied his mirth. "You must have no pity on these animals," said he, and, plucking a switch out of a thicket, he began to lace Modestine about the sternworks, uttering a cry. The rogue pricked up her ears and broke into a good round pace, which she kept up without flagging and without exhibiting the least symptom of distress as long as the peasant kept behind us. Her former panting and shaking had been, I regret to say, a piece of comedy. My deus ex machina, before he left me, presented me with the switch, which he declared she would feel more tenderly than my cane, and finally taught me the true cry or Masonic word of donkey drivers. Prut! I was proud of my new lore, and thought I had learned the word to perfection, and certainly Modestine did wonders for the rest of the forenoon, and I had a breathing space to look about me. It was the Sabbath, and as we came down through Saint-Martin-de-Fougères, the church was crowded to the door. It gave me a home feeling on the spot, for I am a countryman of the Sabbath, so to speak, and all Sabbath observances, like a Scottish accent, strike in me mixed feelings, grateful, and the reverse. It is only a traveller, hurrying by like a person from another planet, who can rightly enjoy the peace and beauty of the great ascetic feast. The sight of the resting country does his spirit good. There is something better than music in the wide, unusual silence, and it disposes him to amiable thoughts, like the sound of a little river or the warmth of the sunlight. In this pleasant humour, I came down the hill to where Goudet stands in the green end of a valley. Above and below, you may hear wimpling over the stones an amiable stripling of a river, which it seems absurd to call the Loire. I hurried over my midday meal, and was early forth again. But, alas, as we climbed the interminable hill on the other side, Prout seemed to have lost its virtue. I prooted like a lion, I prooted mellifluously like a sucking dove, but Modestine would be neither softened nor intimidated. She held doggedly to her pace. Nothing but a blow would move her, and that only for a second before she relapsed into her own private gait. The sound of my own blows sickened me. Once, when I looked at her, she had a faint resemblance to a lady of my acquaintance, who formerly loaded me with kindness, and this increased my horror of my cruelty. To make matters worse, we encountered another donkey, ranging at will upon the roadside. He and Modestine met, nickering for joy, and I had to separate the pair and beat down their young romance with a renewed and feverish bastinado. If the other donkey had had the heart of a male under his hide, he would have fallen upon me tooth and hoof, and this was a kind of consolation. He was plainly unworthy of Modestine's affection. But the incident saddened me, as did everything that spoke of my donkey's sex. It was blazing hot up the valley, windless, with a vehement sun upon my shoulders, and I had to labour so constantly with my stick that the sweat ran into my eyes. Every 5 minutes, too, the pack, the basket, and the pilot coat would take an ugly slew to one side or the other, and I had to stop Modestine just when I'd got her to a tolerable pace of about 2 miles an hour, to tug, push, shoulder, and readjust the load. And at last, in the village of Ussel, saddle and all, the whole hypothèque turned round and grovelled in the dust below the donkey's belly. She, none better pleased, incontinently drew up and seemed to smile. I had the devil's own trouble to get the thing righted, and the instant I had done so, it toppled and fell down upon the other side. Not a hand was offered to assist me. It was the most despicable fix. I must plainly content myself with the pack for Modestine, and take the other items for my own share of the porterage. I believe I may say I am not devoid of greatness of soul, for I did not recoil from this infamous burden. A little out of the village, Modestine, filled with the demon, set her heart upon a by-road and positively refused to leave it. I dropped all my bundles and, I am ashamed to say, struck the poor sinner twice across the face. It was pitiful to see her lift up her head with shut eyes, as if waiting for another blow. I came very near to crying. But I did a wiser thing than that, and sat squarely down by the roadside to consider my situation under the cheerful influence of tobacco and a nip of brandy. Modestine, in the meantime, munched some black bread with a contrite, hypocritical air. It was plain I must make a sacrifice to the gods of shipwreck. I threw away the empty bottle, destined to carry milk, my own white bread, the cold leg of mutton, and the egg whisk, although this last was dear to my heart. Thus I found room for everything in the basket, and even stowed the boating coat on top. By means of an end of cord I slung it under one arm, and although the cord cut my shoulder and the jacket hung almost to the ground, it was with a heart greatly lightened that I set forth again. I now had an arm free to thrash Modestine, and cruelly I chastised her. If I were to reach the lakeside before dark, she must bestir her little shanks to some tune. Already the sun had gone down into a windy-looking mist, and although there were still a few streaks of gold far off to the east on the hills and the black fir woods, all was cold and grey about our onward path. I think every decent step that Modestine took must have cost me at least 2 emphatic blows. There was not another sound in the neighbourhood but that of my unwearying bastinado. Eventually, after a sharp ascent, we reached the edge of a plateau. Soon we were on a high road, and surprise seized on my mind as I beheld a village of some magnitude close at hand, for I had been told that the neighbourhood of the lake was uninhabited, except for trout. The road smoked in the twilight with children driving home cattle from the fields, and a pair of mounted stride-legged women, hat and cap and all, dashed past me at a hammering trot from the canton, where they'd been to church and market. I asked one of the children where I was. At Buchy Saint-Nicolas, he told me. Thither, about a mile south of my destination, and on the other side of a respectable summit, had these confused roads and treacherous peasantry conducted me. My shoulder was cut, so that it hurt sharply. My arm ached like toothache from perpetual beating. I gave up the lake and my design to camp, and asked for the auberge. The auberge of Buchy Saint-Nicolas was among the least pretentious I have ever visited. Imagine a cottage of 2 stories with a bench before the door, the stable and kitchen in a suite, so that Modestine and I could hear each other dining. In the kitchen, cooking and eating go forward side by side, and the family sleep at night. Anyone who has a fancy to wash must do so in public at the common table. The food is sometimes spare. Hard fish and omelette have been my portion more than once. The wine is of the smallest, the brandy abominable to man, and the visit of a fat sow grouting under the table and rubbing against your legs is no impossible accompaniment to dinner. But the people of the inn, in 9 cases out of 10, show themselves friendly and considerate. At Buchy, for instance, I uncorked my bottle of Beaujolais and asked the host to join me. He would take but little. "I am an amateur of such wine, do you see?" he said, "and I am capable of leaving you not enough." He was a mild, handsome, sensible, friendly old man, astonishingly ignorant. His wife, who was not so pleasant in her manners, knew how to read, although I do not suppose she ever did so. She had a share of brains, and spoke like one who ruled the roast. "My man knows nothing," she said, with an angry nod. "He is like the beasts." And the old gentleman signified acquiescence with his head. There was no contempt on her part, and no shame on his. The facts were accepted loyally, and no more about the matter. They were both much interested by the story of my misadventures. "In the morning," said the husband, "I will make you something better than your cane. Such a beast as that feels nothing. It is in the proverb, dur comme un âne. You might beat her insensible with a cudgel, and yet you would arrive nowhere. Something better. I little knew what he was offering. The sleeping room was furnished with 2 beds. I had one, and was a little abashed to find a young man and his wife and child in the act of mounting into the other. This was my first experience of the sort, and if I am always to feel equally silly and extraneous, I pray God it be my last also. I kept my eyes to myself, and know nothing of the woman except that she had beautiful arms, and seemed no whit abashed by the experience. I was up first, and hastened my toilette guiltily, so as to leave a clear field for Madame, the cooper's wife. I drank a bowl of milk, and set off to explore the neighbourhood of Boucher. It was 5 in the morning, and I had to bury my hands in my pockets and trot. When I came back to the inn for a bit of breakfast, the landlady was in the kitchen, combing out her daughter's hair, and I made my compliments upon its beauty. "And where," said I, "is monsieur?" "The master of the house is upstairs," she answered, "making you a goad."
Alan Cumming was reading the 2nd episode of Travels with a Donkey in the Cevennes by Robert Louis Stevenson. Travels with a Donkey in the Cevennes by Robert Louis Stevenson. Episode 3, On the Road to Cheylard.
Blessed be the man who invented goads. Blessed the innkeeper of Boucher Saint Nicolas, who introduced me to their use. This plain wand, with 1/8 of an inch of a pin, was indeed a sceptre when he put it in my hands. Thenceforward, Modestine was my slave. A prick, and she passed the most inviting stable door. A prick, and she broke forth into a gallant little trotlet that devoured the miles. It was not a remarkable speed, when all was said. Only took 4 hours to cover 10 miles at the best of it. But what a heavenly change since yesterday! No more wielding of the ugly cudgel, no more flailing with an aching arm, no more broadsword exercise, but a discreet and gentlemanly fence. And what, although now and then a drop of blood should appear on Modestine's mouse-coloured wedge-like rump? I should have preferred it otherwise, but yesterday's exploits had purged my heart of all humanity. The perverse little devil, since she would not be taken with kindness, must even go with pricking. It was bleak and cold, and except a cavalcade of stride-legged ladies and a pair of post-runners, the road was dead solitary all the way to Pradelles. Just at the bridge of Langogne, as the long-promised rain was beginning to fall, a lassie of some 7 or 8 addressed me in the sacramental phrase, "D'où est-ce que vous venez?" She did it with so high an air that she set me laughing, and this cut her to the quick. She was evidently one who reckoned on respect, and stood looking after me in silent dudgeon as I crossed the bridge and entered the country of Gévaudan. The next day it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon before I got my journal written up and my knapsack repaired, for I was determined to carry my knapsack in the future and have no more ado with baskets. And half an hour afterwards I set out for Cheylard-l'Évêque, on the borders of the forest of Mercoeur. There was no direct road, and dusk was rapidly falling when, in a lull of the wind, I issued from a fir wood where I had long been wandering, and found not the looked-for village, but another marish bottom among rough and tumble hills. For some time I had heard the ringing of cattle bells ahead, and as I came out of the skirts of the wood, I saw near upon 12 cows and perhaps as many more black figures, which I conjectured to be children, although the mist had almost unrecognisably exaggerated their forms. These were all silently following each other in a circle, now taking hands, now breaking up with chains and reverences. It was eerie and fantastic to behold. I felt a sort of silence fall for an instant on my mind. The next, I was pricking Modestine forward, and guiding her like an unruly ship through the open. In a path, She went doggedly ahead of her own accord, as before a fair wind, but once on the turf or among heather, and the brute became demented. The tendency of lost travellers to go round in a circle was developed in her to the degree of passion, and it took all the steering I had in me to keep even a decently straight course through a single field. While I was desperately tacking through the bog, children and cattle began to disperse until only a pair of girls remained behind. From these I sought direction on my path. One put out her tongue at me, the other bade me follow the cows, and they giggled and jogged each other's elbows. I sighted some red windows in the dusk, and found a delightful old man who came a little way with me in the rain to put me safely on the road for Sheila. Alas, I was but on the brink of new miseries. At a single swoop the night fell. I could not distinguish my hand at arm's length from the track, nor my goad at the same distance from the meadows or the sky. At last, black trees began to show on my left, and suddenly crossing the road made a cave of unmitigated blackness right in front. I felt about until my hand encountered a stout branch, and to this I tied Modestine. Then I lowered my pack, laid it along the wall on the margin of the road, and unbuckled the straps. I groped among the tumbled articles, and suddenly touched the spirit lamp. Salvation! At the second match the wick caught flame. I took off my wet boots and gaiters, which I wrapped in my waterproof, arranged my knapsack for a pillow under the flap of my sleeping bag, insinuated my limbs into the interior, and buckled myself in like a bambino. I opened a tin of Bologna sausage and broke a cake of chocolate. All I had to wash down this revolting mixture was neat brandy, a revolting beverage in itself. But I was rare and hungry, ate well, and smoked one of the best cigarettes in my experience. Then I put a stone in my straw hat, pulled the flap of my fur cap over my neck and eyes, put my revolver ready to my hand, and snuggled well down among the sheepskins. Next morning, Gévaudan, no great distance away, seemed little worthy of all my searching. The inn was singularly unpretentious, but I was kindly received. My boots and gaiters were hung up to dry, and seeing me trying to write my journal on my knee, the eldest daughter let down a hinged table in the chimney corner for my convenience. Here I wrote, drank my chocolate, and finally ate an omelette before I left. The husband had begun life as a muleteer, and when I came to charge Modestine, showed himself full of the prudence of his art. "You will have to change this package," said he. "It ought to be in 2 parts, and then you might have double the weight." I explained that I wanted no more weight, and for no donkey hitherto created would I cut my sleeping bag in 2. "It fatigues her, however," said the innkeeper. "Look." Alas, there were her 2 forelegs no better than raw beef on the inside, and blood was running from under her tail. They told me when I started that before a few days I should come to love Modestine like a dog. 3 days had passed. We had shared some misadventures, and my heart was still as cold as a potato towards my beast of burden. She was pretty enough to look at, but then she had given proof of dead stupidity, redeemed indeed by patience, but aggravated by flashes of sorry and ill-judged light-heartedness. I own this new discovery seemed another point against her. What the devil was the good of a she-ass if she could not carry a sleeping bag and a few necessaries? I saw the end of the fable rapidly approaching, when I should have to carry Modestine. Aesop was the man to know the world. I assure you, I set out with heavy thoughts upon my day's short march. Luke was a straggling double file of houses wedged between hill and river. It had no beauty. But the inn was clean and large. The kitchen was the very model of what a kitchen ought to be. A melodrama kitchen, suitable for bandits or noblemen in disguise. Nor was the scene disgraced by the landlady, a handsome, silent, dark old woman, clothed and hooded in black like a nun. Even the public bedroom had a character of its own, with the long deal tables and benches set out as for a harvest home, and the 3 box beds along the wall. In one of these, lying on straw and covered with a pair of table napkins, did I do penance all night long in goose-flesh and chattering teeth, and sigh from time to time as I awakened for my sheepskin sack and the lee of some great wood. Next morning I took the road in a new order. The sack was no longer doubled, but hung at full length across the saddle, a green sausage 6 feet long with a tuft of blue wool hanging out of either end. It was more picturesque, it spared the donkey, and as I began to see, it would ensure stability, blow high, blow low. At a place called La Bastide, I was directed to leave the river and follow a road that mounted on the left among the hills of Vivarais, the modern Ardèche, for I was now come within a little way of my strange destination, the Trappist monastery of Our Lady of the Snows. A spidery cross on every hilltop marked the neighbourhood of a religious house, and a quarter of a mile beyond, a white statue of the Virgin at the corner of a young plantation directed the traveller's steps. Here I struck leftward, driving my secular donkey before me, and creaking in my secular boots and gaiters towards the Asylum of Silence. I had not gone very far ere the wind brought to me the clanging of a bell, and my heart sank within me. I have rarely approached anything with more unaffected terror than the monastery of Our Lady of the Snows. This it is to have had a Protestant education. And suddenly, on turning a corner, fear took hold of me from head to foot, slavish, superstitious fear, for there upon the narrow, new-made road was a medieval friar fighting with a barrowful of turfs. He was robed in white like any spectre, and the hood falling back disclosed a pate as bald and yellow as a skull. I was troubled besides in my mind as to etiquette. Durst I address a person who was under a vow of silence? Clearly not. But drawing near, I doffed my cap to him with a far-away, superstitious reverence. He nodded back, and cheerfully addressed me. Was I going to the monastery? Who was I? An Englishman? Ah, an Irishman then. No, I said. A Scotsman. A Scotsman? Oh, he'd never seen a Scotsman. And he looked me all over, his good, honest, brawny countenance shining with interest, as a boy might look upon a lion or an alligator. From him I learned with disgust that I could not be received at Our Lady of the Snows. I might get a meal, perhaps, but that was all. But then, as it turned out that I was not a pedlar, but a literary man who drew landscapes and was going to write a book, he changed his manner of thinking as to my reception and told me I must be sure to ask for the Father Prior and state my case to him in full. On second thoughts, he determined to go down with me himself. He thought he could manage me better. Might he say that I was a geographer? No, I thought, in the interest of truth, he positively might not. Very well, then, with disappointment. An author. The good father asked if I were a Christian, and when he found I was not, or not after his way, he glossed over it with great goodwill. The road which we were following came to a corner, and showed us some white buildings a little farther on beyond the wood. At the same time, the bell once more sounded abroad. We were hard upon the monastery. Father Apollinaris, for that was my companion's name, stopped me. I must not speak to you down there. Ask for the brother porter, and all will be well. But try to see me as you go out again through the wood, where I may speak to you. I am charmed to have made your acquaintance. And then suddenly, raising his arms, flapping his fingers, and crying out twice, I must not speak! I must not speak! He ran away in front of me and disappeared into the monastery door. This ghastly eccentricity went a good way to revive my terrors. But where one was so good and simple, why should not all be alike? I took heart of grace, and went forward to the gate as fast as Modestine, who seemed to have a disaffection for monasteries, would permit. Father Michael, the father hospitaller, and a pair of brown-robed brothers came to the gate and spoke with me a while. I think my sack was the great attraction. It had already beguiled the heart of poor Apollinaris, who had charged me on my life to show it to the Father Prior. But whether it was my address, or the sack, or the idea speedily published among that part of the brotherhood who attend on strangers that I was not a pedlar after all, I found no difficulty as to my reception. Modestine was led away by a layman to the stables, and I, and my pack, were received into Our Lady of the Snows.
Alan Cumming was reading the third episode of Travels with a Donkey in the Cevennes by Robert Louis Stevenson. Travels with a Donkey in the Cevennes by Robert Louis Stevenson. Episode 4, Our Lady of the Snows.
Father Michael, a pleasant, fresh-faced, smiling man, perhaps of 35, took me to the pantry and gave me a glass of liqueur to stay me until dinner. We had some talk, or rather I should say he listened to my prattling indulgently enough, but with an abstracted air, like a spirit with a thing of clay. And truly, when I remember that I descanted principally on my appetite, and that it must have been by that time more than 18 hours since Father Michael had so much as broken bread, I can well understand that he would find an earthy savour in my conversation. But his manner, though superior, was exquisitely gracious, and I find I have a lurking curiosity as to Father Michael's past. The wet administered, I was left alone for a little in the monastery garden. This is no more than the main court, laid out in sandy paths and beds of part-coloured dahlias, with a fountain and a black statue of the Virgin in the centre. The buildings stand around it 4 square, bleak, as yet unseasoned by the years and weather, and with no other features than a belfry and a pair of slated gables. Brothers in white, brothers in brown passed silently among the sanded alleys, and when I first came out, 3 hooded monks were kneeling on the terrace at their prayers. For my part, on this wild September day, before I was called to dinner, I felt chilly, in and out. When I had eaten well and heartily, Brother Ambrose, a hearty, conversable Frenchman, for all those who wait on strangers have the liberty to speak, led me to a little room in that part of the building which is set apart for Messieurs les Retraitants. It was clean and whitewashed, and furnished with strict necessaries, a crucifix, a bust of the late Pope, the Imitation in French, a book of religious meditations, and the Life of Elizabeth Seton, evangelist, it would appear, of North America and of New England in particular. Over the table, to conclude the inventory of the room, hung a set of regulations for Messieurs les Retraitants, what services they should attend, when they were to tell their beads or meditate, and when to rise and go to rest. I had scarce explored my niche when Brother Ambrose returned. An English boarder, it appeared, would like to speak with me. I professed my willingness, and the friar ushered in a fresh young little Irishman of 50, a deacon of the church, arrayed in strict canonicals, and wearing on his head what, in default of knowledge, I can only call the ecclesiastical shako. He had lived 7 years in retreat at a convent of nuns in Belgium, and now 5 at Our Lady of the Snows. He showed me his room, where he passed his time among breviaries, Hebrew Bibles, and the Waverley novels. Thence he led me to the cloisters, into the chapter house, through the vestry, where the brothers' gowns and broad straw hats were hanging up, each with his religious name upon a board, into the library, where were all the works of Vaillot and Chateaubriand, and the Odes et Ballades, if you please, and even Molière, to say nothing of innumerable fathers and a great variety of local and general historians. Thence my good Irishman took me round the workshops, where brothers bake bread and make cartwheels and take photographs, where one superintends a collection of curiosities, and another a gallery of rabbits. For in a Trappist monastery, each monk has an occupation of his own choice, apart from his religious duties and the general labours of the house. Each must sing in the choir, if he has a voice and ear, and join in the haymaking, if he has a hand to stir. But in his private hours, although he must be occupied, he may be occupied on what he likes. In all these journeyings, many silent fathers and brethren fell in our way. Usually they paid no more regard than if we'd been a cloud, but sometimes the good deacon had a permission to ask of them, and it was granted by a peculiar movement of the hands, almost like that of a dog's paws in swimming, or refused by the usual negative signs, and in either case with lowered eyelids and a certain air of contrition, as of a man who is steering very close to evil. That night I took my place in the gallery to hear Compline and Salve Regina, with which the Cistercians bring every day to a conclusion. A stern simplicity, heightened by the romance of the surroundings, spoke directly to the heart. I recall the whitewashed chapel, the hooded figures in the choir, the lights alternately occluded and revealed, the strong, manly singing, the silence that ensued, the sight of cowled heads bowed in prayer, and then the clear, trenchant beating of the bell, breaking in to show that the last office was over and the hour of sleep had come. I made my escape into the court with somewhat whirling fancies, and stood like a man bewildered in the starry night. But I was weary, and when I had quieted my spirits with Elizabeth Seton's memoirs, a dull work, the cold and the wind among the pines, for my room was on that side of the monastery which adjoins the woods, disposed me readily to slumber. I was wakened at what seemed black midnight, but was really 2 a.m, by the first stroke upon the bell. All the brothers were then hurrying to the chapel. The dead in life at this untimely hour were already beginning the uncomforted labours of their day, and I blessed God that I was free to wander, free to hope, and free to love. But there was another side to my residence at Our Lady of the Snows. I had dined alone because I arrived late, but at supper I found 2 other guests. One was a country parish priest who had walked over that morning from the seat of his cure near Mende to enjoy 4 days of solitude and prayer. He was a grenadier in person, with the hale colour and circular wrinkles of a peasant, and as he complained much of how he had been impeded by his skirts upon the march, I have a vivid fancy portrait of him, striding along, upright, big-boned, with kilted cassock, through the bleak hills of Gévaudan. The other was a short, grizzling, thick-set man dressed in tweed with a knitted spencer, and the red ribbon of a decoration in his buttonhole. He was hard to classify. He was an old soldier who had seen service and risen to the rank of commandant, and he retained some of the brisk, decisive manners of the camp. On the other hand, as soon as his resignation was accepted, he had come to Our Lady of the Snows as a boarder, and after a brief experience of its ways, had remained as a novice. At supper we talked politics. I make it my business, when in France, to preach political goodwill and moderation, and to dwell on the example of Poland, much as some alarmists in England dwell on that of Carthage. The priest and his commandant assured me of their sympathy with all I said, and made a heavy sighing over the bitterness of contemporary feeling. "Why, you cannot say anything to a man with which he does not absolutely agree," said I, "but he flies up at you in a temper." They both declared that such a state of things was anti-Christian. While we were thus agreeing, what should my tongue stumble upon but a word in praise of Gambetta's moderation? The old soldier's countenance was instantly suffused with blood. With the palms of his hands he beat the table like a naughty child. "Come on, monsieur," he shouted. "Come on. Gambetta moderate? Will you dare justify these words?" But the priest had not forgotten the tenor of our talk, and suddenly, in the height of his fury, the old soldier found a warning look directed on his face. The absurdity of his behaviour was brought home to him in a flash, and the storm came to an abrupt end without another word. It was only in the morning that this couple found out I was a heretic. I suppose I had misled them by some admiring expressions as to the monastic life around us, and it was only by a point-blank question that the truth came out. I had been tolerantly used both by simple Father Apollinaris and astute Father Michael, and the good Irish deacon, when he heard of my religious weakness, simply patted me upon the shoulder and said, You must be a Catholic and come to heaven. But I was now among a different set of orthodox. These two men were bitter and upright and narrow, like the worst of Scotsmen, and indeed, upon my heart, I fancy they were worse. The priest snorted aloud like a battle-horse when I humbly indicated that I had no design of changing. He could not away with such a monstrous attitude. "No, no," he cried, "you must change. You have come here, God has led you here, and you must embrace the opportunity." I made a slip in policy. I appealed to the family affections. Though I was speaking to a priest and a soldier, two classes of men circumstantially divorced from the kind and homely ties of life. "Your father and your mother?" cried the priest. "Very well. You will convert them in their turn when you go home." I think I see my father's face. I would rather tackle the Getulian lion in his den than embark on such an enterprise against the family theologian. But now the hunt was up. Priest and soldier were in full cry for my conversion. It was an odd but most convincing proselytizing. They never sought to convince me in argument, where I might have attempted some defence, but took it for granted that I was both ashamed and terrified at my position, and urged me solely on the point of time. Now, they said, when God had led me to Our Lady of the Snows, was the appointed hour. For one who feels very similarly to all sects of religion, and who has never been able even for a moment to weigh seriously the merit of this or that creed on the eternal side of things, however much he may see to praise or blame upon the secular or temporal side, the situation thus created was both unfair and painful. I committed my second fault in tact, and tried to plead that it was all the same thing in the end, and we were all drawing near by different sides to the same undiscriminating friend and father. That, as it seems to lay spirits, would be the only gospel worthy of the name. But different men think differently, and this revolutionary aspiration brought down the priest with all the terrors of the law. He launched into harrowing details of hell. The damned, he said, on the authority of a little book which he had read not a week before, and which, to add conviction to conviction, he had fully intended to bring along with him in his pocket, were to occupy the same attitude through all eternity in the midst of dismal tortures. And as he thus expiated, he grew in nobility of aspect with his enthusiasm. As a result, the pair concluded that I should seek out the prior, since the abbot was from home, and lay my case immediately before him. At this moment in came one of the monks, a little brown fellow with an Italian accent, who threw himself at once into the contention, but in a milder and more persuasive vein. "Look at him," he said. The rule was hard. He would have dearly liked to stay in his own country, Italy. It was well known how beautiful it was, but there were no Trappists in Italy, and he had a soul to save, and here he was. I'm afraid I must be at bottom what a cheerful Indian critic has dubbed me, a faddling hedonist, for this description of the brother's motives gave me somewhat of a shock. I should have preferred to think he had chosen the life for its own sake, and not for ulterior purposes. Besides, I was by this time so thoroughly embarrassed that I pleaded cold feet, and made my escape from the apartment. At dinner, the work of the propagation was recommenced, and on this occasion more distastefully to me. The priest asked me many questions as to the contemptible faith of my fathers, and received my replies with a kind of ecclesiastical titter. At length I grew annoyed beyond endurance, and although he was on his own ground, and an old man, I could not avoid a protest against such uncivil usage. He was sadly discountenanced. "I assure you," he said, "I have no inclination to laugh in my heart. I have no other feeling but interest in your soul." And there ended my conversion. Honest man! He was no dangerous deceiver, but a country parson full of zeal and faith. Long may he tread Gévaudan with his kilted skirts, a man strong to walk and strong to comfort his parishioners in death. I dare say he would beat bravely through a snowstorm where his duty called him. And it is not always the most faithful believer who makes the cunningest apostle.
Alan Cumming was reading the 4th episode of Travels with a Donkey in the Cevennes by Robert Louis Stevenson.